under his rookie contract. Brandon, do you think Dak proved that he is worth a big deal from the Cowboys after what you saw from him this season?
I don't think he proved that he's worth a big deal. You know, I think Jerry Jones is in a tough spot right now. He don't want to create, a frenzy again, saying, should we franchise him? Should we pay him on the offseason again? Because he just went through that. It depends on what head coach he brings in, if they feel comfortable with Dak or not. If he brings in a Lincoln Riley, I think they'll franchise him to see if they work and they coexist. But if he brings in, let's just say, a Josh Daniels, which I think he needs, because Josh Daniels is not going to let Jerry Jones just boss him around and tell him what he needs to do. Josh McDaniels will, put his foot down. And I just think Josh McDaniels can give him the go-ahead to, like, hey, I like Dak. I can get it done with Dak. And that would be the reason why they pay him. But did he prove that he earned a contract? No. But I think whatever head coach comes in is going to decipher whether he gets the contract or not.
Can I just say why? Why don't you think he did? What questions do you think still remain unanswered about Dak Prescott as a quarterback, as a player? Go ahead.
As a player, he shows he's a leader, but I just don't think he took over games that he should have took over. The Philly game, he missed too many throws. Quarterbacks that have the big contracts, they make those throws. I think, the Tom Brady's, the Drew Brees, even though Tom Brady's not playing great ball right now, the Drew Brees, the Patrick Mahomes, the Lamar Jacksons right now, they're making those throws to go to the playoffs. I don't think he elevated his game enough on his own to put the Cowboys on his shoulders to say, I earned this contract. The team just put it on me. No matter who we have out there, I'm going to win games. That's why I don't think he proved that he deserves the contract.
Yeah, he's not doing what Carson Wentz is doing.
Exactly.
We saw Carson Wentz get paid $34 million a year, and we also seen what he's done the last month of football, winning 4 straight must-win games for his team. Now, the defense also was a big part of that, but Carson Wentz is throwing to a bunch of guys that started the year on the practice squad. So when you have a player at the quarterback position that can elevate the talent level around him, get those guys to play above the X's and O's, then yeah, absolutely. That's when you see a guy being worth that kind of money. Dak Prescott hadn't shown us that this year. Dak Prescott this year has lost head-to-head games against Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, and Mitch Trubisky.
Wow.
And we have question marks about all 3 of those quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can continue to doubt Dak Prescott and whether or not he's worth $30 to $35 million a year on a contract extension. And we don't have anything tangible that we can point to this year that would tell us he deserves that kind of deal. Now, I think the Dallas Cowboys will be forced into making that deal with him just based on the contracts that they have with some of the other talent on that team. Jerry Jones wants to get a return on investment on having one of the highest paid offensive lines in football, on making Ezekiel Elliott the highest paid running back in football, the deal that he's going to give Amari Cooper, the money he just gave Jalen Smith and DeMarcus Lawrence. Like, to make that all work, to make that all make sense, you have to have a quarterback. And I think Dak Prescott, for better or worse, is going to have to be the Cowboys quarterback while they're in this championship window.
He's going to be, and they're going to regret it if they give him the huge deal. Look at the quarterbacks that we know are great, and even just the sample size of this season. Forget what they've done historically. They all have gone out, played a individually superb game to beat a great team. Whether it's Drew Brees in week 1 against a great or even good team against Houston, or Drew Brees going, I know they lost, but toe-to-toe and hanging 46 on San Francisco. I can go up and down the list. Russell Wilson beating the Seahawks earlier in the year. Lamar Jackson helping them go on this 12-game winning streak, beating Seattle, beating San Francisco, beating New England. Yeah. Deshaun Watson beating the Patriots and Tom Brady. Patrick Mahomes winning the game against Lamar Jackson and the Ravens and beating the Patriots. Every team in the league that has a star quarterback has a game where it's like, yep, that's the moment. That's the moment where it was, without him we lose, with him we won. What do the Cowboys got? A bunch of losses against good teams. Hell, even the Eagles, Carson Wentz, as up and down they've been. How about the game in Green Bay early in the year that we now look back on it? You lose that game.
The game in Buffalo.
The game in Buffalo. Brady, twice against Buffalo. At least, well, they won the last game against Buffalo. He was superb, and he's having the worst year he's had in 15 years. Everybody in the league we talk about in this echelon has shown us, not only historically, but this season. Where's it at, Dak? Where? Because you're great against Washington. Maybe no player in the league I'd rather have against a bad team.
But how much stock can we put in that?
Exactly.
Daniel Jones just threw for 5 touchdowns and no interceptions against that same Redskins defense.
And that's why the numbers can be misleading. Dak, second most passing yards in football. That's really impressive. Except for the top 5 are, we'll try to do this off the top of my head, Jameis, then Dak, Phillip Rivers, Jared Goff, and one other quarterback. Matt Ryan. All 5 of those guys trailing in a lot of games, throwing for a bunch of yards. In garbage time, we're trying to come back. What about Dak against good teams? Can we show it? Because against good teams, an 85 passer rating in 2019 is abysmal. It's bottom 5, bottom 6 in football. 1-6 record. Even touchdown interception ratio. Now against bad teams, like the Washington game yesterday, sparkling. You can't pay that guy. You just can't pay that guy and go win a championship.
So what do you guys think they should do? Franchise him and then what? Go look for someone else that's a better leader, a better guy that your owner loves, a better soundbite after the game? They're not going to find that.
But it's about on the field, right? Like, they're not going to find the better leader, better team guy, but it's
a guy
about
with better stats?
A guy who's a better thrower of the football.
Yeah.
Right?
I think you franchise him and make him prove it again with the new head coach. Because if it's an offensive-minded guy and Dak doesn't fit his system, now you're stuck for another 4 to 5 years with Dak not being the best quarterback for that offense. So I think you franchise him until you figure out, does he coexist with an offensive-minded head coach if you bring one in?
Well, the answer is there are no good choices for Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys. There just aren't. I mean, this deal should have got done before Jared Goff got his contract, before Carson Wentz got his contract, before Russell Wilson did that deal with the Seahawks. We knew the longer that they waited to get this Dak Prescott deal went, it was going to be more money. And now you're in a position where you have your quarterback asking to be the highest paid player in the league. And we know he's not worth that kind of money. But guess what? Because he has this kind of leverage and because the Dallas Cowboys are in this championship window, Jerry Jones really doesn't have a choice.
Right.
So to me, that was the missed up in handling Dak Prescott. As soon as last year ended, they should have went to Dak Prescott and tried to work out a deal, paying him a little more than $30 million a year. I think it's a big difference if you're talking about 30, 31, 32 million versus 35, 36 million.